In 1941, as the world moved closer to war, President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the Democratic-controlled Congress implemented numerous policies that, while often framed as vital to national security and economic stability, were criticized then and now for being unethical. The most significant and legally questionable action was the Lend-Lease Act in March of 1941. This law authorized the president to lend, lease, sell, or otherwise dispose of war materials to any country whose defense he deemed vital to U.S. security, primarily Great Britain and later the Soviet Union. Critics, mostly Republicans, denounced it as an illegal end-run around neutrality laws and an act of war preparation, giving the president almost dictatorial power in foreign policy. Roosevelt's repeated assurances that the U.S. would not enter the war, even as he was preparing for it, were seen as deceptive to the American public. The military actions and increasing hostility in the Atlantic throughout 1941, including Roosevelt's declaration of an unlimited national emergency, the military occupation of Iceland in July of 1941, and the shoot-on-sight orders against German U-boats in September of 1941 following the U.S.S. Greer incident, were viewed by many as executive overreach and steps toward war taken without formal congressional declaration. The Navy's engagement with German U-boats, such as the sinking of the U.S.S. Reuben James in October, were undeclared naval warfare, arguably illegal under international law and U.S. constitutional rules regarding the declaration of war. Though 1941 saw the passage of Executive Order 8802 in June of 1941, which prohibited racial discrimination in the defense industry, an action prompted by the threat of a mass protest march by African-American leader A. Philip Randolph, this was a limited concession. Roosevelt refused to desegregate the military itself, maintaining prejudicial and segregated units. Furthermore, the immense fear and prejudicial sentiment toward Americans of Japanese descent after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December laid the groundwork for the most genocidal and egregious civil rights violation of the era, the internment of Japanese Americans. While Executive Order 9066 authorizing internment was signed in February 1942, the negative and racially charged environment created by military and political leaders in late 1941 was the immediate precursor, with officials already discussing the mass removal of people based solely on their ancestry, which would lead to the loss of their property and liberty.